Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm Jonathan Jones, Principal Clarinet of the Los Colinas Garland Arlington Symphony, and international soloist, clarinetist, whatnot, producer, DJ, do everything. Anyways, I've been getting some messages and some requests over the last months, and I just haven't got around to getting any videos out this year. Did get a little bit of negative feedback from last year, my beats and whatnot. But this year, I'm going to just lay it to you really straightforward. No beats, no electronics here, just a good old metronome and my advice. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the second etude, the middle etude here in Texas. It's going to be the one that eats everybody alive. If you don't know how to count, which of course maybe you say, oh, well, 1, 2, 3, I can count. No. If you don't know how to keep a steady eighth note, if you don't know how to keep a steady beat, and when you breathe, if you don't know how to come in back in time and not to lose beats, you're going to get eaten alive on this etude. But the first thing I want to talk about, let's start right with the jugular here, measure 27. This is going to eat people alive. I already know. So in your last couple of days of practice, your last week here, and if you're lucky enough to make it to area competition, the thing you really need to do to make some progress on this section, and I've told my students over the last month, some of them do, some of them don't, but it's very simple. I would start around 40 for the eighth note. So we're going to use our trusty metronome over here. I'm sorry, I mean 40 for the dotted quarter note. So that would actually be what for the eighth note? Let's do the math, 120. So, or we can just use our trusty metronome and put it on the triplets. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to need to play, how many notes? There's a lot of notes here. So we're going to make sure that we're playing each beat precisely. So we're going to do each beat on its own up to 5 times or 10 times. I'll challenge you to do as many times as you can perfectly in a row. Okay? So let's start right on the measure 27. So I'm going to play each beat at least 3 times perfectly, if not more. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how I would practice this. I'm going to do 3 times. I would suggest to do 5, 10, 20, however many times it takes, because the more times you do, guess what? That's more muscle memory, positive muscle memory coming into your brain. That's how you actually learn. So, ready? This is how I'm going to practice this part. Okay, now after I do that, but I need to be able to do it perfectly. Every beat has to be perfect 3, 5, 10 times in a row. The next step, and it's also important that I play the next beat resting only 2 eighth notes, da 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 da, and it's also important that I go all the way to the next beat, because these are the things that are going to connect each beat to the other beat. So when you're playing it in a sequence later, you're going to already have that implanted connection, okay? So the next thing you want to do is play each beat with the 2 clicks in between, and then go on to the next beat. So it's giving you 2 eighth notes of rest in between each beat, so you can think and, like I said, get ready for the future. So you're instilling that information of the future, of the next beat in your mind. So you're always going to be thinking about the next beat. You're always being ready. You're always going to the next beat. Here it is. Okay, so that's what you need to do for those spots. Measure 27, measure 31, okay? Same exact thing on measure 31, okay? You have to do this. If you haven't done this, that's why you can't play it, because you haven't taken the time to lay it down beat by beat, and and using each beat as a musical exercise. I don't want to just play da 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 da. No, dee da 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 dee da da. We're going to the next beat always, because that's the way I want it to feel and sound whenever you play the whole piece. Okay, so that's the trick to learning those things. And I'm going to tell you, most people are going to come in there, they're going to slop all over it. I'm going to tell you right now, I would rather hear somebody, if I was judging, I would rather hear somebody come in and play it at 40 really gracefully. I'd rather hear that without that little fuzz in the F sharp. I'd rather hear that than somebody, just going sloppy and just not even musical at all, okay? So that's what you need to do for that section, okay, and the next section coming up. For the beginning, the beginning and the end, it's just pretty simple. You just got to practice the dadgum thing with a metronome. And I really think that the beginning should go at 60. It's what it says on the page. And contrary to what some people think, maybe, at measure 27, there is something that's written. It's called it's called poco mano, whatever that means. What do you think it means? A little bit less. Well, what is it? Is it a little bit less dynamic? Is it a little bit less motion? It doesn't necessarily say. My interpretation is that the poco mano means meno motion, less motion, because at 35 they take the time to write tempo 1. Why would they write that? Well, because that means we had a slower tempo before preceding. So guess what? Around 27, and it's already 16th notes, so it's already going to sound faster. So we really need to lax it back to get it to actually be more relaxed, okay? So in this section, don't go too fast. You need to start slow. You need to make sure you have your grip, because I guarantee you're going to slip. You're going to be like at the track meet, ready to go, and you're going to fall on your face right off the starting line, okay? Don't do that. The beginning is so simple. Just play the daggum thing with a metronome. You need to be playing it around 60, and you don't need to go too slow. I guarantee you a lot of people are going to go too slow in the beginning. So people are going to go too slow in the beginning. They're going to go too fast at 27. Do the opposite. Sound more mature. Sound like you planned it out. Sound like you're actually in control. And go nice and musical to the beginning at 60. Okay, so those are my main tips for this. Any questions? I'll make another impromptu video. So until, for the people out there that are requesting me to make a video, please do me a favor and do what I say. Take the section, you know what I'm talking about. Take it and do it right here. Do these sections. Start your practicing with those. Start your practicing. I want to challenge you to start on that section. I always have my students start on that section, because I guarantee you've probably been neglecting it this whole time. John Jones, practice video number 1. More to come.